All right, well, welcome everyone to our Monday, September the 29th business board meeting. I call the meeting to order and I welcome Ms. Tuttle to call the roll, please.
Thank you. Mrs. Stewart?
Yes.
Mrs. Schreiber?
Here.
Dr. Urso?
Here.
Mrs. Ramsey Hunter?
Here.
And I believe Mr. Moore is absent tonight because of family concern.
Thank you.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
So moved.
In a second, please.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions, concerns, comments, complaints? Nope.
Nope.
If there are none, then Ms. Tuttle, we're ready to approve the agenda.
Mrs. Ramsey Hunter?
Yes.
Dr. Urso?
Yes.
Mrs. Schreiber?
Yes.
Mrs. Stewart?
Yes.
All right. Well, moving to our presentation this evening, I had the pleasure of meeting our success liaisons. And so with that, I'll welcome Ms. Davis. Are you going to start us with this? And who are the success liaisons? Question mark presentation.
Yeah.
And so,
Here they come.
Welcome.
And they also have their supervisor sitting in the back there, Carrie Wynn. Been working with them for years and years. Yeah, thanks for coming, Carrie.
Dr. Urso, Ms. Scheibert, members of the board, Mrs. Hauser, Ms. Tuttle, we are honored to be here tonight to highlight the powerful work of our Success Liaisons and the Success Program. The overarching method of the Success Program is to break down barriers and to support our students and our families in very authentic ways to ensure that their needs are met. Tonight, I am thrilled to be able to have you hear from them in their own words and to be able to tell a little bit about the magic that they bring to our district every day through their tireless efforts and community support. So just from our perspective, what is the Success Program? Well, it is deeply rooted in relationship building, in developing trusting relationships with families and caregivers, and establishing that trust so that we can begin to truly identify the needs of that family. Some of those needs are very overt and well known, and some of them are uncovered through those deep relationships as they become more and more comfortable with the Success Liaisons. The Success Liaisons begin to identify exactly where those needs are, and then ultimately are able to connect to community resources to provide both tangible support as well as more discrete support from behind. It also allows for personalization of connections. Through the development of those relationships over time and that trust, we're able to personalize. No two families look alike, no two needs are alike. And so as they work directly with families, they're able to find that very personalized approach to how they're going to serve that family and help them break down the barriers ultimately so that student can be supported in the school setting. So again, I am very thrilled to have all of our Success Liaisons here tonight, and I wanted to just begin by introducing each of them. And so I will ask them to just step forward when I introduce them, and then again, you'll hear from them later. Emily Morgan, Julie Kaido, Kaylee Bennett, and Mila Perry. Each of these Success Liaisons have school-based assignments, so they are very visible in the school. They have a lot of connections with the staff and the families within that community, but then they also span outside of those buildings, and they work together to serve families that may be in multiple buildings. So although they do have those building assignments, it's very much a team approach throughout the district to support families with a multitude of resources. And again, I want to just say that one of the hallmarks of this program is the very personalized support that they're able to provide. They have so many connections in our community. They are able to very quickly, oftentimes, provide direct support through a multitude of partnerships. So this truly is a holistic approach to the support of our students. So at this time, I cannot think of a better way to tell the story than to have them tell it in their own words through personal experiences, and to really truly uncover for you who are the Success Liaisons. So at this time, I want to introduce Mila Perry.
Good evening, and thank
Mila.
you for being here or inviting us to be able to share with you what it is that we do. Again, I'm Mila Perry, and I've got the pleasure of serving Rosa Parks and Wildwood Elementary Schools. So, in looking at the heart of our work, as you see here, the child is absolutely the center of what we do. We start with relationship building. Relationships are so important to what we do and why we do what we do. And so it takes a lot of time to build those relationships, a lot of time that others in the school building really just don't have. And we're able to help break down those barriers, find out what those barriers are, and be a connector for the families. The community has amazing programs. This community is filled with organizations and churches and programs that provide so many supports. And oftentimes our families just don't know about it. And so being able to connect with the families, connect with the schools, connect with the community resources, and help with those barriers, and be just that bridge to be able to help them to see the things that are accessible to them. And just to see those in the room that I've had to contact personally, oftentimes at the last moment, to help families navigate some of their critical times is a testament to that. Absolutely offering holistic care. So our job is addressing the non-cognitive barriers that prevent students from focusing on their learning. And so we're able to do that by, again, the relationship building, by connecting with the community, by taking that time with those families and figuring out exactly what's needed so we can help them to be the best that they can be. And so just a brief example of explaining that. I was working just Friday, went to go check in on a family. We have the ability to have the flexibility actually going to their homes, so meeting them where they are. And grandmother is caring for 2 of her grandchildren, and so that's called kinship care. And meeting with grandma, the granddaughter, who's a 6th grader, was suspended from school, and grandma is, just very upset, very overwhelmed, has a lot going on. She has raised her children. Her children are thriving, successful adults, and she now has the responsibility of caring for these 2 grandchildren and just struggling with being able to connect with the oldest granddaughter. And so after grandma was just spending time just kind of like talking about the things that she was going through, really not knowing how to help her, not how to reach her right now in her life, being able to then spend some time with that student, just talking to her, just spending that time meant a lot to her. The things that we then put in place after that was using some of the Manny Fund to get her some clothes, talking about after-school programs or clubs that she can join to help with her relationship and learning how to have friends and make friends, and just how to handle some of the pressures of life that she's facing. So again, we're here serving and working with the adults, but it's really the heart of what we do is absolutely the children. The student is the heart of everything that we do, and what we really are able to do most is provide them hope in times that it seems like can be very hopeless. So next I would love to introduce my coworker, Emily Morgan, who is going to get to the meat of how we do what we do.
Hi, I'm Emily Morgan, and I work at Mayfield and Creekview Elementary Schools as their Success Liaison. So part of how our program works is we receive referrals from a variety of different places. So we get them from school staff, we get them from sometimes word of mouth. We're working with a family who just happens to know another family who might be in need. And a lot of times we get them from other community agencies, so different apartment complexes or churches, things like that. So we do get referrals from everywhere. But what's unique about our program is that we only work with students who are, or families who have a student in Middletown City Schools. So our focus really is on helping the student have what they need outside of the classroom so that they can be successful inside the classroom. So we understand that education doesn't happen in a bubble, and that our students are coming into our classrooms every single day impacted by what's going on in the world, in their community, and most significantly, what's going on in their own homes and in their own families. So our job is to do what we can to remove those barriers, and it looks different for every single family we work with. Sometimes, as you may be aware, homelessness is on the rise in our county, and so for a lot of students, unfortunately, in Middletown, that's affecting them as well. So one of the things that we're able to do is use some community resources to try to avoid eviction whenever possible. When we can't, we work hard to connect them with local shelters who are going to give them that safe transitional housing so that until they figure out what's next. Sometimes it means that we are working to use resources to keep the lights on, to keep the water running. And most often, it means that we are giving them some tangible supplies that they need. Maybe it's groceries, maybe it's clothing, cleaning products, hygiene products, things like of that nature. At one of my buildings, we had a student who had really become an attendance concern. And every time the school reached out, they just couldn't quite get an answer from mom about what was going on. What was the reason he wasn't in school? I was able to connect with mom, go out to her home, have a conversation with her, and figure out that one of the things she shared with me was that the student did not have clean clothes and wasn't able to take a shower. And the poor hygiene had been noticed by his peers, and that had really become an issue and caused a lot of embarrassment. So I was able to get them laundry detergent, get them an opportunity to wash their clothes with some gift cards to Laundry Spot. I got the student brand new properly fitting clothes, and then a whole bunch of hygiene items for soap, shampoo, deodorant, toothpaste, all of that stuff. And the student was no longer an attendance concern after that. So while these things may not feel very connected to education, what we've learned is that they are actually deeply intertwined. We have incredible teachers in our district, but even the best educators can't teach a kid who's in there. So we really focus on eliminating whatever the barrier is to anything that's going to impact their attention in the classroom, and we work to remove that. Oh, sorry. In addition to providing some of these more tangible supports, we also work hard to connect students and their families with local community resources and different supports. Sometimes that looks like helping a family figure out transportation to an appointment or to a doctor or to a grocery store. Sometimes it's helping them with mental health supports, getting them connected in that way. And sometimes it's helping them apply for and navigate their insurance benefits and find a doctor that they can see. So I had another student that I was working with who was really struggling in the classroom. He was having a really difficult time because he just could not see what was happening in front of him. He struggled to even see his computer screen. So I talked with mom and figured out really what was going on was that she couldn't find a doctor that he could see that was accepting patients, that would accept his insurance, and that she could get to. She didn't have a car, she had some health issues herself. So what I was able to do is get an eye doctor to come into the school. They did a little mini clinic with him and a couple other students, did a full eye exam, and determined he absolutely needed glasses. So she let him pick out his frames. She came back a couple weeks later, put him on his face, and I've never seen a student just light up so fast as he did in that moment, because for the first time, everything was clear. And his perspective immediately shifted in that moment. About 6 weeks later, his teacher came to my office and said, "Hey, I want you to know, I have noticed a significant change in his test scores, because for the first time, he had the full picture of what was happening in the classroom, and he wasn't missing information anymore." So our job is really to connect families with resources that they wouldn't even otherwise know about within our community. So I am now going to invite up Julie Kaido, and she's going to tell you a little bit more about the impact of these connections.
Hi again, guys. Thank you for having us. I'm Julie Kaido. Once again, I work at the middle school, the high school, and mid-state. This is my 9th year in this role. And as you guys can see, there's a couple quotes from the community and from parents. And it really highlights the voices of our community and our families. And that is really at the core of what our role is about too. So Mila and Emily talked about relationship building, which is key to really having an understanding as to how we can help these families. It might start with the tangibles, but after that is when we really get to the barriers that are getting in the way of making our students successful. So when we think about that, a lot of times when we start to really get to know the families, we find what's really going on and why maybe the students aren't coming. A lot of times, sometimes families might feel like there's maybe a barrier in in the education world, and maybe they're finding some reasons as to maybe why they don't want their kids to go there. Maybe something's happened to them personally, or maybe something's happened to the students. My favorite relationships are when we can really get to why that's happening, because what that allows us to do is see parents become successful and reaching out to the schools and being more involved. And in the 9 years, that's truly when I've seen the success the most. A story that kind of highlights that a little bit is it's been really fun being at the high school and getting to see the fruit that's been put into the labor for the students, for the parents, and then for the relationships that I've built. So last year I was working with a mother and her student. Started out with just needs like needing rent, utilities. There were attendance concerns, so there were some of those on the surface things that are very concerning for a parent. But the more that I got to know the mother, by the end of the year, she was sharing that she didn't graduate, and her hope was for her child to graduate at the end of the year. One of those barriers, it seems minor, but it's really not, was being able to figure out how to get a cap and gown. So that's something that I was able to do, and she was able to graduate, and she's now in college. So that's to me is just the biggest success of something like that. So our next slide is going to talk about, it's a mom giving her own personal testimony, and who better to really share what's going on than a parent themselves. So thank you.
Thanks, Julie.
My house was flooding. It was a lot of things going on in my house when we first moved here, very emergency, and I needed help. So I reached out to the school, and I met this beautiful lady named Miss Julie. And she asked me what I needed. Sometimes I always feel like somebody wants something from me, but she didn't want anything. But for me to just continue being a great mom. I have received rental assistance, and the rental assistance was to help me with my my deposit and my rent. I came up with half, and Miss Julie helped me come up with the other half for my rent, so I won't be homeless. I did not have anywhere to go. I don't have family in this area, so I didn't have anybody to call. Without this program, where would I be? I don't know. And that's the part I don't want to think about, because I know where I am. And I am where I am right now because of the help of Miss Julie and the organization that she represents. I'm able to actually look at my kids and love being a mom.
Hi, my name is Keely Bennett. I'm the liaison for Amanda Central Academy in Miller Ridge. Today I'm going to talk to you about our impact by numbers. These numbers represent the school year last year. Just keeping in mind with our numbers here that are represented, kind of on what Mila touched on before, our numbers are limited by the time and space that we put into creating these relationships with our families and with their students. So as we work together as a team, that is impacting our number, as you can see. But to go over the numbers, last year we assisted 445 students through our Success program. We assisted 66 families with our Manny Funds, which is Middletown area needed youth. And then we had a total of 121 Care Portal referrals. I just really want to touch on Care Portal for a second, because Care Portal is such a powerful network tool that we use here in Middletown. If you're unfamiliar with Care Portal, it's an online platform that we use as liaisons to post needs that we have for our families. Could be anywhere between financial assistance, maybe some hygiene items, or maybe even furniture. We're able to post that online on the platform, and when that gets posted, it's viewed by local churches in our area, community groups, or even just individuals who are a part of Care Portal. Once they see that, they can choose if they want to meet the need or not. And if we get a notification saying someone wants to help, then we connect the donor to our client. So that really gets that community partnership together.
again, we as liaisons are the only ones able to access Care Portal, so it's a really big resource for us that we love to use and really helps us hit home on community partnership. So the goal is always for us, just like we talked before, that the student is always the center, and we're here to support our Middletown students, but we can't do it by ourselves. We have so many great community partners here in the area, kind of like we touched on before, churches, agencies, service providers, all of these things. And because we have those things, our families can feel supported, our students are ready to learn, and the student trajectory changes drastically. Students are always the heart of what we do, always. And we just really want to take the time to thank you guys as the board members for giving us the opportunity to serve in the area that we're in and impact the lives of our students. So thank you so much. So again, I can't think of a better way to highlight the program than to hear from the individuals who are making such a difference every day through the Success Liaisons. I know that Mrs. Hauser already recognized Carrie Wynn. Carrie is the supervisor of the Success Program. She is in the audience tonight. And so we also want to just thank the deep partnership, not just with our community, but the deep partnership with the Butler County ESC and the partnership that brings the Success Program and the Success Liaisons to us. For families that may be seeing this or hearing about this, we invite them to contact their school directly if they'd like to connect with the Success Liaisons. And for community members and other individuals that might be seeing this, we ask that you just continue to tell the story, just to amplify the work that's going on, to spread the great news across our district, and again, just a wonderful resource for the parents and families of our students. So we would be more than happy to take any questions that you may have.
I don't have any questions, but I have a comment that I think the work that you do is amazing. I think you are able to attend to things that a teacher may not even see because needs manifest themselves in ways that are not ever related to the need. I mean, they don't look in any way like they're connected. And I think that you're doing amazing work. I'm so happy that we have this resource in our schools. I truly believe in what you do, and I think it's just wonderful work. I appreciate everything you do. I really do. I wish we had 4 more. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't have any questions either. I just wanted to thank you guys for the work that you do. I've had the pleasure of working with you all in the past, and Carrie as well, and you make a tremendous difference in the lives of the families and the students, and you are absolutely correct when you say it's a direct correlation between what you're doing and how they are academically performing, and having someone in their corner is it's incredible. So just thank you for the work that you're doing.
I would like to also, I work with you guys in my other profession, and I get to see you guys in person and say thank you for being there for the students, because it does make a difference. And I know those kiddos and families really enjoy having those abilities to their hands. So thank you.
I did have a question. I was curious in terms of, in doing the math, it seems like it's around 110 or 111 students per Success Liaison. Is there an idea, because you're right, each student probably has each family, unique circumstances. The amount of time, is there a way to quantify? Because in my mind, I'm trying to figure out 110 students, 4 people, is the bandwidth, is it extended? Are there cases that, I mean, is there enough of you to be able to source out all the problems probably that are within a school community like ours?
We've had some extensive conversations around that, and they can certainly answer if I don't hit what we've talked about. But certainly, and I think Kaylee hit it pretty closely on the head, that they are limited by time and space. And by space, I mean just the ability to be in homes, to be, and I think Dr. Russo, you hit it on the head as well, to say no two families are alike. And so I think that they are getting close to hitting their bandwidth in terms of the capacity they have to really expand the reach of the program, with them being at least in 2 buildings at this point, you know, spreading their time across those buildings, trying to be visible and be supportive so that the resource is known. But then I think that they oftentimes struggle with the ability to be able to handle the magnitude of the need. And so I think we are reaching our bandwidth in terms of the ability to keep up with the needs that are in our community. You heard tonight even just the rise in homelessness and what that has looked like. And, you know, as things evolve in our community, they're on the front lines directly trying to respond to those. And so I hope that I answered your question in saying that we're getting very close to.
It's taxed in the sense.
Yes.
And then I look also at even the high school, middle school campus. I mean, 2 schools, 2 large schools in terms of the sheer number of kids who travel through those doors. And so, I was also curious in regards to like measurables. Again, it's hard to measure when you have such a variety of things that you each do. And to listen how being able to see a test is the first step in being able to complete said test. Are there measurables that, I don't know, that are quantified that look at pre and post influence of the work that you've done? And if so, what would those be?
I know that Carrie and I have talked, they collect an extensive amount of data. We did not bring it all forward tonight, but we would be more than happy to bring some additional data to the board through Mrs. Hauser in regards to the data that they do have that maybe starts to dig a little bit deeper into the very measurable pieces of success.
And I guess the most important thing is to echo my colleagues and say thank you. I know it's a heavy lift, and I know it's probably not something you just leave at work too, that you build relationships that are enduring, and you hear stories that compel you to do probably even more than you're asked to do. And so thank you for that.
Thank you again for the opportunity.
I'd also like to say thanks, ladies, for coming out tonight. And just the every day I see you out in the schools, and really the beauty of the 4 of you and working with Carrie, you never really know what you're entering into each day, and you do it every single day with a smile on your face and a positive attitude. And it's really all about, and it's not just children. So they work, the staff, right? So they help the staff members, it's the children, it's their families, it's the staff members. You're part of the family, and you just walk in every single day not knowing what the job's going to be that day, and you embrace it with such grace and beauty. And thanks for coming tonight. Yeah, might be bedtime for some people. Yeah, but we're glad you're here. Yeah, thanks,
You did
ladies.
a nice job presenting
Thank you.
that
Yeah.
information.
Thanks, Ms. Davis.
All right, are we ready for the next agenda item?
Yes.
The consent agenda? Is there a motion for approval?
So move.
And a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, anything to highlight, whether it be financial or other, within tonight's consent agenda?
Do you have anything for the financial? Okay. So I'd like to go through and highlight what you see in the consent agenda, high-level
Appreciate
overview. You see a contract for Jimmy Casas. If you recall, the past couple years during the October Professional Development Day, we bring in a speaker for all staff, K through 12, and this is our speaker for October 17th. Comes highly recommended. So you see a contract for Jimmy. You see a contract for our one-to-one nursing services with Living Faith Home Health Care for one of our students where one-to-one nurse is required. See 2 contracts with Butler County ESC. One of the contracts is for 5 days. That's support for our EL population. I think I've communicated with the board through board communications the ever-increasing numbers of EL students. So the one contract is support, 5 days of support. And then one of the contracts is for 2 days for our MIDI Impact. If you recall, we started MIDI Impact last year, where that's our staff presenting for staff. So this is where we have Butler County staff members presenting on that day. So you see a contract for that. Warren County ESC, contract for a student Warren County for some behavior services that we cannot address within our district. Personnel agenda, your typical personnel agenda, but there is one thing I wanted to highlight on this week's personnel agenda, that it's embedded in there, but you will see Janet Creech, she teaches physics for us, but she also at the high school, she started the robotics class at the high school. She's building an arena in her classroom to prepare our children for competitions, for robotics competitions. So you will see a supplemental for her to attend those competitions, and that's just an extension, one more extension of the Middletown High School redesign. But I wanted to point that out because it's embedded in the consent agenda, and you might miss that. So hats off to Janet. Then we have our athletic agenda, and that's our coaching supplementals. You're going to see our basketball, cheer, wrestling, swim, your annual supplementals for our coaching staff. And that's it on the consent.
Can you tell us what the topic of Mr. Casas, what will he present?
It's about bringing the best of you to work every day. Yeah. We like to focus on the staff member as a whole person that day. It's the staff member, it's not as a teacher, it's as a person. So, and that's and he comes highly recommended, and bring the best of you to work.
Which contract was the EL funding?
5 days.
Which
Butler
was-
County ESC for 5 days to
Okay.
the tune of $3,750.
With the changes at the federal level, with some of the title money coming that way, will that Title II, will that be impacted by that, like moving ahead? Because I realize the federal government's pulling some of our federal funds specifically towards some of the EL training that our students require. Is that something that, like, down the road will impact us in these kinds of ways?
So it could. So with the funding still up in the air, we could see some changes with funding when it comes to the EL. EL is Title III that comes into the district.
And so our numbers are going up, and
yes.
and our federal funding is going down. Is that just
Right now it is, yes.
correct? Yeah.
So we are close to 900 EL students in the district right now. A little less, but by the time school gets up and running, we're probably going to be seeing about 900 students.
900 students? All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then we have the Personnel B agenda. So that's
Yeah.
for Dr. Urso.
Yeah, little brother.
So I'm getting ahead of myself. But
Right.
yeah.
Any questions, other questions for the consent agenda? I believe, Ms. Tuttle, we're ready to vote.
Mrs. Stewart?
Yes.
Mrs. Schreiber?
Yes.
Dr. Urso?
Yes.
Mrs. Ramsey Hunter?
Yes.
All right, motion carries. And express our thanks to Ms. Creech for the effort
Sure.
for doing
Pass
the
that on.
robotics.
Ms. Thompson, you can help me with that.
All right, like she had mentioned, we have a personnel agenda B. Is there a motion for approval?
So
Motion
moved.
for approval. Go ahead.
A second?
So moved.
Second.
All right, and my brother appreciates the eagerness in approving this item, and so thank you for that. Any questions regarding this?
No.
All right, then Ms. Tuttle, we're ready to vote.
Dr. Urso?
Abstain?
Mrs. Schreiber?
Yes.
Mrs. Stewart?
Yes.
Mrs. Ramsey Hunter?
Yes.
Motion carries. Under finance, we have a 5-year forecast resolution. Is there a motion for approval
So moved.
and a second?
Second.
And is it instructed that I should read this?
I think Randy did want you to read that.
To,
Yes.
he was supposed to give me an abbreviated. Is this
Yeah.
the abbreviated?
I think you
All right,
forgot.
I'm going to cruise.
Start reading.
All right, Board of Education, Butler and Warren Counties, Ohio, resolution. Is there a number for this resolution? It's resolution yellow. A
Highlighted.
resolution to continue preparing a 5-year financial forecast in addition to the 4-year financial forecast required by the state of Ohio, whereas the current version of section 5705.391A of the Ohio Revised Code requires the district to annually submit a 5-year projection of operational revenues and expenditures to the state to mitigate the risk that a district may incur a deficit during the first 3 years of the 5-year period, and whereas effective September 30th, 2025, section 5704.391A of the Ohio Revised Code will require the district to submit to the state a projection of all appropriation revenue and fund balance assumptions contained in the budget adopted by the board for that fiscal year and projections of expenditures, revenues, and the fund balance for the 3 succeeding financial years for the total projection period of 4 years. And whereas the Board of Education believes that the district will benefit from continuing to prepare a 5-year financial forecast in addition to the 4-year forecast required by section 5705.391A of the Ohio Revised Code, as amended, now therefore it be resolved by the Board of Education of the Middletown City School District, section 1, in addition to preparing and submitting a 4-year financial forecast in accordance to section 5705.391A of the Ohio Revised Code, as amended, the district shall also continue to prepare a 5-year financial forecast of the district revenues and expenditures to be used for district financial planning purposes. Section 2, the treasurer shall present to the Board of Education both the 4-year financial forecast that was prepared in accordance to section 5705.391A of the Ohio Revised Code as amended, and the additional financial forecasting that is required by section 1 of this resolution. Don't ask me to read it again. Any questions, comments?
Comment and question, maybe. Can Randy, when he returns, provide some explanation around what they are doing? Because it's complicated. So in fact, we're still doing a 5-year, but it's expected to be done in a 4-year, and you're actually looking and reviewing a 3-year.
3
So I
years,
know
yeah.
it has some complications along with what they're proposing, and I understand that the state is proposing it, so we don't have, it is what it is. But if he could provide just some brief
Sure.
explanation about really what this means to the district and how he's going to manage it.
Sure, we
Thank
take care
you.
of that. Next board meeting,
Yep.
October 6th.
Any of the comments, questions? Mike
You're a good
Berlin?
reader.
Am
Yeah.
I?
You're a good
I
reader.
You did a good
appreciate
job.
that. My mom and dad would be proud. I think too, just to have some background information in regards to this. I know the state is working through some things. Would like to understand the bearings of these kinds of decisions moving ahead, just like Ms.
Sure.
Stewart had indicated.
Pass that on.
I believe we're ready to vote.
Dr. Urso,
Yes.
Mrs. Schreiber,
Yes.
Mrs. Stewart,
Yes.
Mrs. Ramsey Hunt.
Yes.
And I was encouraged to remind you that we each need to sign this resolution before you leave. All right. Under business and transportation, there is a resolution declaring transportation impractical. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
In a second, please.
Same
Who
time.
got that in? Yeah.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Stewart. We realize what this is, but if you would like to provide a
Sure.
brief overview.
It's one of our students has moved. And the student still qualifies for transportation, and sometimes it makes sense for the parent to transport, and that's the case here. So it's, they get 70 cents a mile transporting their child back and forth from school.
All right. Any questions or concerns regarding this?
Yes, just in the wordage, the date may need to be corrected. It says 9/55 of 2025.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Anything else? I believe Ms. Tuttle.
Mrs. Stewart,
Yes.
Mrs. Schreiber,
Yes.
Mrs. Ramsey Hunter,
Yes.
Dr. Urso.
Yes. I believe this carries us to the committee reports. Ms. Hauser, any committees?
Not yet. The LT's coming up, ladies, October 14th, something like that. It's in October. Don't quote me on that day. Yep, it's
right.
Thursday. It's coming up.
Maybe
Then-
the 12th?
Then that would take us to Board of Education reports. Ms. Ramsey Hunter, anything to report this evening?
Just want to report that parade for homecoming started, homecoming week off. I just want to wish all the kids a great week. Enjoy Friday game and enjoy their homecoming for the high school students that are attending.
Perfect. Thank you. Ms. Stewart, anything to report?
Nothing to report tonight, thank you.
Awesome. Ms. Scheibert?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. Quiet tonight.
I know. I wanted to first thank my colleagues for walking in the parade this evening. That was a good time. Next year, I think we would like candy to hand out because we see a lot of sad faces when we're
When you're
just
walking
walking. At least we would get some smiles if we had some candy in hand. And so one
There you go,
suggestion.
note to self.
Moving ahead, we need some candy, some sugar to throw out. Like Ms. Ramsey Hunter had indicated, homecoming this weekend. Just wish everyone to be safe and smart as they kind of travel out and get dressed up, take pictures, put them on Facebook and all that fun stuff, just to be safe. Good luck to our football team. They've gotten off to a really good start. Appreciate the band. They always sound great. But also wanted to thank the Purple Pizzazz. They performed at the State of the City and they crushed it. They did a really nice job. They did a rendition of, I think, one of the Carpenter song about love, and I told them after the end it should just play on loop. In the world we live in right now, their little song kind of made my day. It was the highlight of my day. They did a really nice job.
So good. It was so good.
Really strong.
Yeah.
I was also indicating, mentioning to my colleagues, there are only 2 young men in the Purple Pizzazz. They're the 2 smart young men in that group, and so the young ladies carried. They did a really nice job. That's all I have to report.
Oh, can I add? Chris did a really good job.
Oh, it's passed. You had your chance.
No, Chris
you
did.
passed.
He did a very good job representing the district at the state of address.
State of the
that
City,
the mayor.
yeah.
That the mayor.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, he did a really good job representing us. So thank you, Chris.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Ms. Tuttle, anything to
have
report
anything,
tonight?
No.
You
Nothing?
sure? Nothing?
Positive?
Okay.
Something. No.
We're glad you're here.
You did a
Thanks for
wonderful job
stepping in.
tonight.
Yeah, thanks for stepping in.
Thank you.
So I know I've communicated with the board, with the transportation facility, somewhat at a high level, but really, we are getting there. So we have some dates. The team was out at the transportation facility the other day touring. It is for real, and it's here. So I have some dates for you that, of course, they're flexible, but also wanted to share that with the community. We have community members that are driving by the transportation facility all the time and oohing and on. But October 20th, which is just a few weeks away, we are due for move-in day, and we should be finished by October 31st. Once we get finished moving in, November 3rd is demolition time for the current building that you'll be seeing. That's coming down. November 17th, you're going to start to see site work for the parking lot and the driveway. Mid-December should see final site completion, and we'll be ready for a ribbon cutting. So I have some pictures that it is, I don't know if you guys drive by it on occasion, but it is looking quite sharp. So I want to share that with the community, and then also hats off to everyone for we're on time, under budget, and it is a good thing. So mid-December, ribbon cutting.
Thank you. All right. Anything else this evening? All right. That was enough time there. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
In a second.
Second.
Ms. Tuttle, we're ready to vote?
Dr. Urso?
Yes.
Mrs. Stewart?
Yes.
Mrs. Scheibert?
Yes.
Mrs. Ramsey Hunter?
Yes.
All right. We're adjourned. Have a good night. And